gotta go fast.
There is light at the end of the tunnel. Life is hard. Life is challenging. There are ups and downs.
And these challenges that you face, they're gonna do their best to take you down. Do not let them.
Don't worry. You fall, you stand up. You fall, you stand up.
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show all of you. You think I suck? I'm gonna be the biggest, best person on earth.
I need you to pause and recall the reason why you made the choice to invest your time. And never lose sight of the fact that you were destined to shine. Never lose sight of the fact that you were made for this grind.
It's possible. Your dream is possible. Say that to yourself every day.
There are two fixed points in your life: birth and death. And what happens in between, that's under your control. It's the only thing under your control.
I know I can. Be what I want to be. If I work hard at it, I'll be where I want to be.
What would happen if you just stopped wasting the opportunities that are in front of you? You'd be who knows how much more efficient. 10 times more efficient. 20 times more efficient.
Believe that you can achieve something and then actually go out and achieve it. I stayed up late. I read, I wrote, I sacrificed.
You need to immerse yourself in school. You need to go in deep. All you doing every single day is studying.
You have no time to let fear, doubt, failure, quit, negative thoughts, or give up enter into your mental.
You want those good grades? You have to work hard to get them.
Find out what it is you want and go after it as if your life depends on it.
See, not only do you owe yourself, but you told your mama you were finished. You told your daddy you were finished. You told your brother you were finished. You told your sister you were finished.
Stop waiting for tomorrow. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. And start now. Start believing. Start dreaming. And create the life and the person that you really want to see.
Why is it so important to get up early?
Some of y'all don't want it. That's why you ain't got it.
I don't sleep when I'm tired. I sleep when I'm done.
The average millionaire wakes up at 4 a.m.
So it started off 4 o'clock in the morning where I'd start with my cardio, then I'd have breakfast, and then I would go to the gym, and then I'd go to work.
Some of y'all have no idea what 4 a.m. looks like.
Why would you not wake up at 4:30?
Because you're too busy sleeping in.
I'm pretty sure I wake up earlier than all of you.
We don't sleep when we're tired. We sleep when we are
too busy hitting the snooze button multiple times.
Excuses sound best to the person that's making them up.
And if we can really be honest, some of y'all don't even go to bed until about 4 a.m.
If you can get up before the rest of the world is awake, right? Before the enemy's awake, you can get so much done. You're so much more productive.
Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Wake your ass up.
And then they ask me, well, why are you up so early?
Take responsibility to make your life happen.
Awaken the beast inside.
Wake up at 4 a.m. So I begin to tell myself, there must be a reason.
When you have something to do, when you have someone to love, when you have something to look forward to, when you get up in the morning. See, people who have something to look forward to don't need an alarm clock because they have a reason for being.
If you want to have one of the best lives in the world, which is you live on your terms, you have to pay your dues to get there.
You've decided that you're not going to allow your circumstances to define you. You've decided that you're not going to allow the events, the things, the people, life, determine who you become.
You got a problem with your life, you got a problem with your environment, do something about it.
If you want more freedom in your life, you have to have more discipline.
If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy.
You decided that you're not going to go through life being a whiner, being a complainer, that you're going to take responsibility for what it is that you want to create. The greatest ability that God has given humankind above the animals is the ability to choose.
My advice to the young people, 25 years old, make enough mistakes. Don't worry. You fall, you stand up. You fall, you stand up. Enjoy it. 25 years old, enjoy the show, enjoy the show. From 30 to 40 years old, you have to think very clearly, you're working for yourself if you really want to be an entrepreneur. So 40 to 50, think about how can focus on things that you are good at. But when you are 50 to 60 years old, work for the young people, because young people can do better than you. So rely on them, invest on them, making sure they're good. So 25 years old, don't worry. Any mistake is an income, is a wonderful revenue for you.
My experience is with people that we're probably running at about 51% of our capacity. You can think about this yourselves. I often ask undergraduates how many hours a day you waste or how many hours a week you waste. And the classic answer is something like 4 to 6 hours a day. You know, inefficient studying, watching things on YouTube that not only do you not want to watch, that you don't even care about, that make you feel horrible about watching after you're done. That's probably 4 hours right there. You know, you think, well, that's 25 hours a week, it's 100 hours a month, that's 2.5 full work weeks, it's half a year of work weeks per year. And if your time is worth $20 an hour, which is a radical underestimate, it's probably more like 50 if you think about it in terms of deferred wages. If you're wasting 20 hours a week, you're wasting $50,000 a year. And you are doing that right now. And it's because you're young, wasting $50,000 a year is a way bigger catastrophe than it would be for me to waste it, because I'm not going to last nearly as long. And so if your life isn't everything it could be, you could ask yourself, well, what would happen if you just stopped wasting the opportunities that are in front of you? You'd be, who knows how much more efficient? 10 times more efficient, 20 times more efficient. That's the Pareto distribution. You have no idea how efficient people get. It's off the charts.
Tick, tock, tick, tock. We've all heard the sound of a clock. Have you ever stopped to think about what it means? There are 2 fixed points in your life, birth and death. And what happens in between, that's under your control. It's the only thing under your control. Now, we have no idea what the distance between birth and death is going to be. And you've heard the story so many times. Somebody gets really bad news. They find out they've got life-threatening cancer. They've only got a few months to live. They quit their job, sell all their possessions, and go volunteering in a far-off country, giving back to other people, spending time with the people important to them, and spending time doing the things that really matter the most. So why is it that we wait for such a massive moment for us to take massive action? What if you could change everything today? What if you could change everything in an instant, right now? watching this video on YouTube, on your phone or your laptop, or wherever you are, what if change could happen?
I don't care how good you are, I don't care how talented you are, I don't care how much you work on yourself. There are some times when things aren't going to go right. They just are not going to go right. There are times when anything that can happen will happen. Murphy's Law will be knocking at your door. Why? I don't know why. That's called life. And you have to deal with it. Sometimes your life will be in a slump, just like sports. Some of the best shooters can't hit baskets different times in games. They get in a slump. Do they sit on the sideline and say, I just didn't hit a basket today? No, they continue to execute. I suggest to you that if you are facing a challenge, don't stop. Stay busy, work your plan. Continue to do those things that you know that work for you after you have evaluated yourself in the situation. Continue to move, stay busy, stay busy, stay busy. Repeat out to me, help somebody. And help yourself. Because what you give is what you get. Find somebody that you can help so you can forget about you for a moment. See, sometimes the best thing to do is to be. Sometimes you have to just back up and go within yourself.
And I think there's a simple thing that you need that we hear again and again in these motivational speeches. And it's a simple word, but it's misunderstood. And it's belief. If you're going to really change, the first thing that you have to move from an opinion to a belief, and a belief into a conviction, is that you are the one that can change. You are the one that is responsible for who you are, where you are in life right now, the things that you do, the things that you don't do, that you know that you should, the things that you have become, the person that you've become, and as a result, the things that you have. And there's all kinds of things going on right now. There's all kinds of thoughts going on right now. There's all kinds of feeling, but amidst all of those things, amidst the sea of confusion that you might feel, let me ask you a very simple question, a very basic question. Do you believe that you have the power to change?
The reason people change is because of pain. The reason we grow is because we get uncomfortable and we embrace being uncomfortable. But being honest with the pain that we feel is usually the prime mover for people to do the work that is necessary to push to the edge.
Embrace the pain that you're going to feel when you're trying to do something great. You have to understand, you have to know that with greatness comes pain.
Stop listening to the opinions of others around us that are saying, oh, you're never going to make it. It's impossible. You can't do it. You will never make it.
Acknowledging our suffering, being in touch with the pain, that's enough to say, I can't do this. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, this is not the person I want to become.
Like, I used to sit there and look at my class and my teachers and I'm like, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show all of you. You think I suck? I'm going to be the biggest, best person on earth.
You need to immerse yourself in school. You need to go in deep. All you're doing every single day is studying.
You're going to get distracted from your goals. And all these things, arrows are going to come at you all the time. Whatever your goal is, you have to get there. Even though people are going to say you can't do it, even though people are going to throw different opportunities, you know, I'm sure your friends went out 1,000,000 times to happy hour when you had to stay late.
Find out what it is you want and go after it as if your life depends on it. Why? Because it does.
Thoughts become things. Whatever you put out into the universe, you are going to get back.
You have an opportunity to still be achieving. So get up and get on it. Because the weak will struggle. Success is reserved for those that are the strongest.
But you still got time to pass that class. You still got time to finish strong, all right?
Repeat after me. Education equals opportunity. One more time. Education equals opportunity.
School is like a privilege. Learning is a privilege. Getting your education is a privilege. Not a lot of people have that, surprisingly. I know the people in your city and in your school all have that, and it may seem normal to you at times, but it's not. You know, people wish to have education. People wish they can go to school and learn and grow as an individual. You know, it's not about just one math test that you have tomorrow. It's not about one grade. It's that if you do good on this one test, you're gonna do good on another test, and then another test, and you're gonna get an A, and that's gonna raise your GPA, and your GPA is what's gonna decide what college you're gonna get into, and then what your job will be. Like, it all adds up. You know, always try your best. Don't look at it as just a test. Don't look at it as just a class, a grade. Because anything that you want in life, you know, you're gonna have to work for. Nothing is gonna be given to you.
See, most people only ever focus on problems, right? It's the world we live in today. We live in a world of media-fueled problems, right? You can't turn on the news without seeing problems, disasters, all the bad in this world. Now, most people focus on their problems and make them bigger than what they actually are. All right, this is where people are going wrong. If something bad happens and you make that problem even bigger and tell yourselves things like, this is always happening to me, this is never gonna get better, this is a big problem. Train your mind. Train your mind not to focus on the problem and make it bigger, but focus on the solution to solve it. Stay positive, stay focused, and most importantly, stay strong.
You know, I used to actually do my homework on a Friday, so I would enjoy the weekend. Mostly people do it on Sundays when they have to do it, but I like to just get it over with. It's so much better knowing you're done and you can have free time and you can do whatever you want than have that on your mind while having the free time. You know what I mean? It's just so much better to get it done. You'll feel so good. Start off good. Do your homework. Do the best you can do on every single test.
I know I can. Be what I want to be. If I work hard at it, I'll be where I want to be. I know I can. Be what I want to be. If I work hard at it, I'll be where I want to be.
Hard work pays off. You know, the classes I used to slack on and I didn't do that great in, it showed. In the classes I worked really hard on and I tried my best, it showed. You know, it made me realize that hard work really does pay off in the end. Your results might not show and you might feel like you're failing. You might feel like you're not getting anywhere and that you won't do good, but just as long as you try your best, just as long as you give it 100%, start off strong and finish even stronger. You got this, my friend.
What's the problem? You've been waiting your entire life for this moment. This golden opportunity. This rare occasion. This chance to do what so many other people don't get to do. What they don't get to accomplish. What they don't get to experience. What they can only imagine. But you're here. You've made it to this point. You've arrived at this pinnacle place in your life. It would be a shame to mess it up. A shame to miss this chance. All because you allowed fear to trump faith. Time waits for no man. Once it's gone, it's gone. It doesn't roll over. Time goes forward. Time never goes backward. The time is now. There has never been a more promising time to achieve greatness. I heard someone once say that greatness is within you, but it's dormant. It's bottled up, just waiting for the moment to unleash and show the world how great you really are. How talented you can be. How amazing your skills are. Not sure if you know or not, but there are hundreds, no, scratch that, thousands, let me try again, millions of people that would kill to be in your shoes right now. They would give up food, sleep, TV, cell phones, and any other luxury of the world just to be given the opportunity you have right now. But instead of taking advantage of it, instead of capitalizing on it, you're too busy eating. You're too busy sleeping. You're too busy being distracted by what's on television. You're too occupied with what's trending on social media. Every second you're not working, your competitor is. In other words, you don't have time to chill. You don't have time to just hang out. You don't have precious moments to lose. That same billionaire that you idolize has the same 24 hours that you have. Imagine that. The same 86,400 seconds in a day. Do they waste it? You better work your butt off every single second that you have. Or you will find yourself saying, I should have, but it'll be too late. The time would have already passed. Your chance will be lost. Your golden opportunity will fall in someone else's lap. Don't do that to yourself. You've worked too hard up until this point. You put too much blood, too much sweat, too much tears, too many late nights of studying into your craft to ease up now. The time is now. Not only is it important to you, but it's important to your family. It's important to your friends. It's important to every young child that looks at you as a role model. And you had no idea you were being watched. There are young kids in your neighborhood that aspire to be like you. They want the opportunities you've been given, but they may be too shy to tell you. And so they watch from a distance. Don't let them down. The time is now. Everyone in your corner is rooting for your success. Everyone in your corner wants to see you shine. Everyone in your corner wants to see you win. Everyone in your corner believes in you. The question is, do you believe in you? Are you committed to the process? Are you built for this life? Are you ready for the tears, the long days of working hard, the sleepless nights of putting in work, the sacrifice of your time to reach a new level? The time is now. The choice is yours. Don't wait. Don't hold back. Don't be shy. Give it all you got. Give it every ounce of effort you can muster up. Then, and only then, can you be successful. The time is now.
When you feel like your professor or your teacher has lost their mind. When you feel like your energy is all gone and it's impossible to finish every assignment on time. When you feel like you're mentally broken and your motivation to achieve is hard to find. When you feel like the clouds in your life are so dark it would be impossible to ever see the sun shine again. When you feel. Those are three of the most powerful words that could ever be put together. When you feel. Because the feel means you're still with us. Because the feel means you're still breathing. Because the feel means you still have an opportunity to be achieving. Because the feel means that you still have the power to stop the pain, stop the bleeding, stop the hurting, stop the grieving. I said, when you feel. Because the feel means you're still with us. Because the feel means you're still breathing. Because the feel means you still have an opportunity to be achieving. Because the feel means that you still have the power to stop the pain, still have the power to stop the bleeding, still have the power to stop the hurting, still have the power to stop the grieving. So whenever you feel like your professor or teacher has lost their mind, because they're overwhelming you with a workload that seemingly will take up all of your time, I need you to pause and recall the reason why you made the choice to invest your time. And never lose sight of the fact that you were destined to shine. Never lose sight of the fact that you were made for this grind. Never lose sight of the fact that no hole is too deep for you to climb up out of. And above all else, your why will never ever allow you to withdraw. Your why will never ever allow you to pull the plug. Your why will never ever allow you to throw in the towel. See, it's your why that will push you to dig deeper and to go that extra mile. See, not only do you owe yourself, but you told your mama you were finished. You told your daddy you were finished. You told your brother you were finished. You told your sister you were finished. So therefore, it's up to you to never diminish the value of your word. And a wise man once gave me a wise word, and now I'm passing these wise words on to you. You are in total control of your situation. So when you feel like you're facing a breaking point, this is the point when you go to your professor. This is the point when you go to your academic advisor, and not the time to despise her and not the time to despise him. Simply say, I am in this until I walk across the stage with my diploma. I am in this until I smell the sweet aroma of success. And right now, I'm feeling overwhelmed because I am on academic overload. Do you have any suggestions that will help me power through this semester? Because my only option is to figure this out. And whatever it takes, I can, I will, and I must do. See, I understand that drastic times call for drastic measures. And the measure of a person's will is determined by what they are willing to do to ensure triumph over tragedy. The measure of a person's will is determined by what they are willing to do to ensure success over failure. The measure of a person's will is determined by what they are willing to do to ensure winning over losing. And see, right now, I'm choosing to fight for my academic future, and that's why I came to your office. I promise. When they see that your passion is pushing you with a purpose, they will give you every ounce of their being to assure you are successful because they know you're worth it. I just need you to never forget that you're worth it. Success is your baby. You just gotta birth it and then kick back and enjoy the fruits of your labor. But in the meantime, I need you to pull up your sleeves. I need you to tighten up your boxing gloves because you're right in the middle of a heavyweight boxing match. And life is trying to take your title, and your survival in this academic arena is at stake. It's moments like these where we separate the real from the fake. But when it's like you shake off any and every punch that life throws and fight back with a series of vicious headshots and body blows to overcome and achieve the victory. But believe you me, life will keep testing you. Believe you me, life will keep trying you. Believe you me, life will keep pushing you. Believe you me, life will keep trying to break you. I don't think y'all heard me. I said, believe you me, life will keep testing you. Believe you me, life will keep trying you. Believe you me, life will keep pushing you. Believe you me, life will keep trying to break you. Lock in with me And always remember, you are unbreakable. They want to see you fail. But you are a diamond, and you succeed because you get back up after you fail. And you will get back up again and again until your arms are raised with the wind. So I need you to speak positivity into existence and ignore your inner voice of resistance, because it's your resilience and persistence that will allow you to master your time management skills, that will allow you to break all of these huge assignments down into small pieces, that would allow you to group study with a winner circle, that would allow you to jump over any, and I mean any, academic hurdles. Always remember, when you feel, that means you are still breathing, and thus you have an opportunity to keep achieving. This is a great day to win.
The attitude is it can't be done because they haven't seen it. They're judging according to appearances. The people that are going to make it in the future, the people that are making it today, let me share something with you. History is being read, but it's also being written by people with imagination. It's necessary you take responsibility for it, that you make it happen, that you don't give up, that you don't take any objection or disappointment or defeats personally, that you keep on keeping on, that you don't decide that I can't make it because you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, that you realize that's a part of the program. You must have faith. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe in your abilities. You've got to believe in your service, your company, your ideas, unquestionably. You've got to have faith, and that faith gives you patience. That it's not going to happen as quickly as you want it to happen. When you got an idea, you want to move on. You might not have the money, you might not have the education, you might not have the support or the resources you need. What is that something that can keep us going, that will enable us to act on our dream? What's one of those keys that will begin to help us to discover the secrets to our dream? Here's what I want you to repeat after me, please, with power and conviction. Say, it's possible.
It's possible. It's possible. Yes, your dream is possible. Say that to yourself every day. Feed your mind with words that you write and words that you hear and words that you speak to yourself. Feed your faith, and your doubts will starve to death. Say to yourself, it's possible. It's possible. It's possible. Even when you have no evidence to point to, say to yourself, it's possible. There's nothing as powerful as a made-up mind.
What keeps you on top is the ability to think and prepare mentally over and over and over again. The body has limitations, the mind does not. We focus so much on what goes on from the neck down that we forget it all starts from here.
You got to write, even if no one published your book, write, because that was given to you to do. You do what it is you're supposed to. You're supposed to build something. You're supposed to create something. I don't know how to do it. Learn. Do whatever is required. Just go out there. It's possible you can get what you want. It's necessary. If you want it, you got to go into action. You got to be willing to experiment. You got to be willing to fail and to succeed. You got to be willing to form and to develop new relationships. It's you, it's on you. You got to make that happen. Nobody's going to bring it to you on a silver platter and say, here's your dream manifested. No, it's hard. Yes, it's hard. It's difficult. Yes, right. And it's worth it.
I hear stuff all the time. People say, oh, look in the mirror and you'll see why you're not succeeding. I don't believe that, okay? It's what you don't see in the mirror. That's what's holding you back. It's what you're not willing to see is why talent is not enough. And when you finally see it and accept it and decide to work on it, then you can take that next level.
Life means to evolve. And if you're not evolving through small incremental changes that build up over time to create a large change, then you're probably dead. And that shouldn't really be a goal of anyone. I think every day I get up and I say, what are my priorities? And then I move towards that. And sometimes, honestly, my priorities are to see how many back-to-back episodes of whatever I'm watching on Netflix I can watch, you know, if it's that kind of introvert's Sunday that I need, you know, in order to be my best self out in the world Monday morning. And sometimes it's, you know, how much of my to-do list can I crank through before lunch? And so I tell myself that this to-do list, or the things that are on it, are so insignificant compared to the things that I have already done, or I've already survived, or already accomplished, that it's almost laughable that they think they can stay there on my to-do list, you know, like they're actively mocking me. And so if you can get to the point where you can say, well, I've already pushed through something uncomfortable, or I've already done something that I didn't think that I was able to do, didn't have the skills to do, didn't have the confidence to even try, but yet circumstances intervened and I was forced to. I've already done these things. And yeah, they were in a different context. You know, maybe they were in a personal context and not a career context. Or in my case, they were in the theater and not in the science world. But proof of concept is already there. So what reason do I have to believe that it's not going to work again? So not thinking about it as this entirely novel new thing, because you do get the fear response to new things, because that's our brain trying to protect us from, you know, things that might be dangerous that we don't know anything about, and realizing that in fact this is a familiar task that's cloaked in a new environment. And so I think that there's a lot to be said for looking back at our successes and not just appreciating them, but really recognizing that the new challenges, in fact, are old dragons we've already slain. A lot of the early accomplishments that I have made were because I didn't realize that there was an option. And there's actually a type of method for teaching. I also used to play the violin, and I was taught with the Suzuki method. And if you look up the Suzuki method, you have all of these little 4, 5, 6-year-olds that are playing violin concertos that are, you know, far beyond what you would think somebody of that age should be able to do. And it's because nobody told them that they shouldn't be able to do that. And so that was basically my reality. I was told, well, you're 11, you're gonna start going to college. So I went, and the expectation was you're supposed to get good grades, so I did. Every time there was a goal put in front of me, I didn't realize you could not accomplish it, so I just did. We'll never really know who we would have been if we had made like one different decision, you know, way back there in our childhood. But because of the way the brain develops, we are more emotionally susceptible to the experiences that we have early on in life than we are later in life. All I hope for women in STEM is that they stop worrying about whether or not they're fitting in and whether or not they are supposed to be emulating the men or making a point of being female, and they start just taking things, taking their power, taking their place at the table, and not asking permission for it. And we have all of these trailblazing women that have had to do that. They have had to take, and there are so many glass ceilings in academia, you know, the ancient ivory tower that it is, and they are still there to be broken. But I think for the masses, since we're always trying to get women in STEM now and women in coding, and so I think of it as like, I hope this isn't offensive, like storming the beaches at Normandy. Like, we just put enough women into the pipeline, then the fact that it's so leaky won't be a problem, and we'll eventually get enough of them through to tenure track positions that there will start to be a positive feedback loop. And I think that for the masses, it can be very difficult to be at your best when you're constantly looking over your shoulder and wondering if being you is enough.
Say no to everything that doesn't support your immediate goals.
41% of items that people put on their to-do list are never done at all. Wow. It's like a to-do list is the graveyard of, you know, important but not urgent. And when you truly realize just how valuable a single minute is, I mean, money, we can lose it and make it back again. Our health, we can get sick and get healthy again. Time, once it's gone, it is gone. Time is life.
The 15 secrets successful people know about time management. The productivity habits of 7 billionaires, 13 Olympic athletes, 29 straight-A students, and 239 entrepreneurs. You might not use all of them, but if you use 1, 2, 3, or 4 of them, I'm telling you, you're going to get a lot more out of your day.
Anyone can make a big difference.
Absolutely. We all have the same amount of time. Every single one of us has the same amount of time, but some of us squander it, some of us waste it, some of us don't make best use of it. It's my goal, my hope at the end of this episode that you'll be able to see just how much time you have in the day. And there's something in this episode that you'll be able to use to maybe get more out of your day. And that to me is a win. Absolutely a win in my book. Golden nugget number 1. Time is your most valuable and scarcest resource.
Hey, 1440 is the number that can change your life. And that number is the number of minutes we all have in a single day. And while, most of the people that I interviewed, they're not all doing the same 15 secrets either. The common thread was that they always spoke about minutes and the value of time. And when you truly realize just how valuable a single minute is, I mean, money, we can lose it and make it back again. Our health, we can get sick and get healthy again. Time, once it's gone, it is gone. Time is life. And so, in 1 minute for your health, you can bang out some push-ups or sit-ups or take a cleansing breath. For relationships, you can tell someone that you love them or that you're grateful for them. In business, it takes a minute to have a breakthrough idea. And once you truly understand that, all of a sudden, you're not going to let people steal your time with all those got-a-minute meetings or other trivial things.
There's a certain number of minutes every single day that I have at my disposal, and so much of it is just wasted minutes. So if you start to capitalize on the time that you have, you'll realize, holy, I can get a whole bunch done. So golden nugget number 2, identify your most important task and do it first.
The most important task, the MIT, your MIT is, what is that project that is going to double the size of your business? What is that project that's going to get you the promotion or max out your bonus at work? And then break it down. It's like, what domino can I tip over today that's going to lean on the next one and the next one? And then we have to get in that discipline of scheduling time to work on our MIT first thing in the morning. Behavioral psychologist Dan Ariely talks about we are at our best for about a 2-hour window of time in the morning. We're at our cognitive best. But what do most of us do? We stroll in with, to work, we open up email, we start working on everybody else's MITs by answering their emails and all that stuff. Before we respond to text, before we listen to voicemails, before we do email, we should work on our MIT.
Golden nugget number 3, work from your calendar, not a to-do list.
Stop using a to-do list. I was asking all of these people, self-made billionaires, self-made millionaires, what is your number 1 secret to productivity? They could have said anything. And none of them mentioned a to-do list. I was about halfway through the interviews, and finally I started doing the follow-up. I'm like, well, what about your to-do list? Give me some advice. They laughed at me. They're like, to-do list? We work from a calendar. And as I did the research, it turns out 41% of items that people put on their to-do list are never done at all. Wow. It's like a to-do list is the graveyard of, important but not urgent. If you really want to get something done, pick a day, a time, and a duration, and then live from your calendar.
Golden nugget number 4, to overcome procrastination, beat your future self.
So we need to think about, all right, how's that future evil version of ourselves going to jeopardize our best intentions? And let's say we want to start jogging this week. We want to work out. Well, you know what? I know that my evil self is going to hit that snooze alarm. How do I fight back? I'm gonna put my iPhone. I'm gonna set that alarm, put on the other side of the room. So I got to literally get out of bed to shut it off. And that evil Kevin's going to say, oh man, I don't know where my workout stuff is. I'll work out tomorrow instead. Well, you know what? I'm going to beat that future version by putting my sneakers right at the end of my bed. In fact, I'm going to go to sleep in my shorts and a t-shirt. So I just need to put my sneakers on and I'm dressed.
Nice.
So we just need to think about all the ways that we're going to procrastinate, all those excuses we're going to come up with, and try to beat them in the present moment.
Golden nugget number 5. There will always be more to do.
Back when I was a young and dumb entrepreneur, I was the guy who was just 8 hours a day wasn't enough. So I'd work 16 or 20. 5 days a week wasn't enough. I'd work 7. The girlfriend or eventually the wife would be like, hey, it's 6 o'clock. Dinner's cold. When are you coming home? Leaving the office in 5 minutes. Then it's an hour later. I'm still in the office. And, one of the things that I learned from interviewing all these people is they have this sense in their bones, like there will always be more to do. Andy Grove wrote, he was the founder and CEO of Intel. And he said, my day ends when I'm tired and ready to go home, not when I'm done, because I am never done. A manager's work is never done. There's always more to be done, more that should be done, always more than can be done. Maybe, maybe we've decided that we're going to work a 10-hour day or a 12-hour day or a 6-hour day. Whatever you decide, be intentional about it, and then realize you've allocated other minutes for your health, which is gym time. You've allocated other minutes for your relationship, including date night or time with your kids.
Golden nugget number 6, always carry a notebook.
Everybody I spoke to talked about carrying a notebook. Richard Branson has written about it over and over again. He says the single most important possession is his little notebook. That's how he built, the Virgin brand. There's all these people that I interviewed that just swear by this power of jotting down little notes, whether it's journaling or notes from meetings or words of wisdom from the books they read, but it just really changes their life.
Yeah, and one of the things that David Allen always says that our minds are best used for processing different ideas, not to hold on to information. You'd be surprised when you start carrying around a notebook with you just how much information comes into your mind that you want to capture. Now, when you start capturing that information, you realize, holy crap, I've been holding on to so many good pieces of information and it's just been gone. I just lose it or I hold on to it and it just ruins the ability to allow your mind to free itself up to process new information, which is the best state for your mind to be in. Golden nugget number 7, control your inbox.
To be honest, many of us use our email inbox and text messages and other social media apps as a form of procrastination, as a form of a little reward. It releases dopamine. It's kind of like pulling that handle on a slot machine. Is it going to be something good? And all of these companies out there and other people in our lives, they want our attention. And that's fine, but it can get in the way of our productivity. So the bottom line is, shut off the notifications on your phone on everything. It's okay to go to email or messages and all of that, but do it when you want to do it, not because someone else is calling you, kind of like Pavlov's dog, ringing a bell and I'm reaching for my phone. I process email like anything else 3 times a day, morning, noon, and night. Now, again, the number's not so important, Ryan. I mean, I know people who only process it once a week or once a day, and others, people tell me, hey, I'm a stockbroker or whatever, I need to get back to people all the time. Fine, process it every 30 minutes or 15 minutes. The idea is to be intentional about it.
Shut off the notifications. So if you're out there and you haven't shut off your email notifications, what are you waiting for? I've done that a long time ago. I shut it off because it's just distraction. Golden nugget number 8, schedule and attend meetings as a last resort.
Now, we can't all, be like Mark Cuban and just say no to our boss and other people with meetings. Right. We can say no much more often. We can say no to a lot of meetings. We could say no to meetings before noon. Like, let's keep our deep work in the morning, then our collaborative work in the afternoon. And if you have to say yes to a meeting, say no to long meetings. Richard Branson again says, there's few meetings that need to last more than 5 or 10 minutes. And so that's just the idea. Is let's say no as often as possible, at least one day a week say no, and then try to say no to long meetings.
Absolutely. And that actually, you know what? That breaks us into the next golden nugget number 9. Say no to everything that doesn't support your immediate goals.
They're not being rude, but the most highly successful people, they know what their values are, their goals are, and they fill their calendar with things that'll get there. And that doesn't leave time for a lot of other things. We're raised from being really young to hey, you want to be liked, so you want to help people. You're told it's nice to help people. You don't want to be rude. What's helpful to me is when I realized that every time I say yes to something, I'm actually saying no to another thing or many things.
I got myself into so much trouble, man, because I like to be liked, and so I would say yes to people all the time, even though I knew by saying yes, it would screw up my schedule. I'd have to push other things back. In the back of my head, I was like, you're not going to do this anymore. You're not going to go to the gym. Your whole schedule's thrown off course. Getting good at saying no and doing it in a very polite way, in a delicate way, is something that a lot of you out there have to do. Golden nugget number 10, follow the powerful Pareto principle.
Yeah, the Pareto principle is more commonly known as the 80-20 rule. And it's this idea that most of the results in almost any activity, 80% of the results, comes from about 20% of the activity. So it's just really pausing, slowing down, and looking at, with all the work that you're doing to build your business, to get your work done, what are the handful of tasks that are getting you most of your results? Just focus on those things.
Golden nugget number 11, focus on your unique strengths and passion.
We really need to remember the power of delegation. I'm a perfectionist, so nobody can do anything as good as I can. I've got to do everything to do it right. And the reality, Ryan, is that might be true, but we have to realize, again, think about that 80-20 rule. This feeds into this, that yes, if I delegate it to someone on my team, maybe it's not going to be perfect, but if it's 80% to perfect, I need to be okay with that and let it go, because now that just freed up all of my time.
Golden nugget number 12. Batch your work with recurring themes. So this one, you read in the book, Innovative Entrepreneurs, they really assign different themes to their office days so that employees can really concentrate on one specific type of work.
Well-known sort of consultant to consultants, Dan Sullivan, he talks about entrepreneurs should have focus days, buffer days, and free days. And the focus days, those are your game days. Those are the days where you are doing your most important activities. Usually it's sales or revenue related, but whatever your strengths are. A buffer day, that's the day to catch up on phone calls and emails and sign paperwork and, all the other administrative stuff we have to do. And then free days are the days where you do not work. And what you're doing is you're resting and recharging, which all the Olympic athletes really talk to me about that.
Golden nugget number 13. If you can do a task in less than 5 minutes, do it immediately. So this really comes down to the touch it once principle.
I go to an extreme on this one. I walk to get the mail out of the mailbox every day. Well, most people, you come inside and there's the two piles. There's the junk pile and then the bills, and then later we go through the junk again, and then we go through the bills again. On my walk back up to the garage, I am sorting that junk and I'm dropping it right in the recycle bin before I even get into my house. Those bills, they go into the bill pile, which again, I process on Friday afternoons. I don't even open the envelopes until I'm ready to do them. I don't care about what my electric bill or cable bill is. I'm just going to leave it sit there until I'm ready to process it. So, email, you open an email when you're ready to process it in that moment. Just learn to touch everything once.
Golden nugget number 14, routinely use early mornings to strengthen your mind, your body, and your spirit.
Because, I'm asking people, give me your number one productivity tip. So I'm expecting to hear about task lists and calendars and priorities. So many people said, my number one productivity tip is what I do in the first hour of my day. And they're not talking about getting work done. They're talking about their mind and body. Most of the people that I interviewed, these high performers, they weren't waking up feeling stressed, rushing to the office and diving into emails. That first hour, that first 30 minutes, they were investing in themselves for the long game.
Last but certainly not least, golden nugget number 15. Productivity is about energy and focus, not time.
We all have the same 1,440 minutes a day. We can't get more of that. It's not about managing the time. So the idea is, first of all, take care of our bodies. Light cardio, lots of water, get good deep sleep. In addition to that, the most productive people, they actually take more breaks. So we're designed to kind of like sprint and rest. And so again, to each their own. A lot of people like this Pomodoro technique. You just sprint for 25 minutes, then pop up and walk around, get some air, get some water. The idea is to spend more time on single tasking, all out focused attention, these working jam sessions, then a little break, and then get back to it.
What if I told you that you could do twice the amount of studying you're doing right now in half of the time? So instead of spending 20 hours a week or 10 hours a week, you could do it in 5 or 10 and do twice the amount that you're doing. And it wouldn't be boring. It wouldn't be hard to get into. Because sometimes, let's face it, it does become boring. It does get hard to get started. It does become hard to stay on track. But what if it doesn't have to be? What if I told you that it could require less effort? It could be more fun and much more exciting. In this video, I'm going to explain for you 11 ways that you can do exactly that, how you can learn to study smart. And this is something that if you follow this process, if you stick with it, it's going to win you the respect and admiration of everyone around you, the teachers that are helping you to get the grades that you want, the students in the classroom that you sit next to, but also, most of all, the person that looks back at you in the mirror every single day. So let's get into it. The first thing that great students do when it comes to studying smart is scheduling their study sessions, breaking their time down. A lot of us, we fail to understand that time is actually something you can control. What do I mean by this? Well, what I mean is you have 24 hours in a day, 86,400 seconds. And the person who has planned and prepared every single one of those to the best of their ability, they're going to get more out of their time. So the first thing you need to sit down and do is schedule throughout the week, from Monday to Friday, on Saturday and Sunday, in your evenings, in your mornings, in your breaks between lessons. What studying are you going to do? Which topic are you going to focus on? So that when you sit down at the desk, you haven't left anything to chance, but you've scheduled in exactly what you're going to do. So it requires less brain power, precious brain power that you need to focus on learning, to focus on studying effectively. It's not used up in deciding what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. It's already laid out for you. I want you to imagine the life of an athlete, the life of a boxer preparing for his final fight. They don't leave these things to chance. Their meals, their training regimen, the things that they need to work on has been planned beforehand, and you can use the people around you to help you do that. The second thing that you need to focus on is what we call the Ebbinghaus curve. And basically what it means is you forget things over time. So if you learn something today, tomorrow you may remember 50% of it. The day after you may remember 25%. And within a week, you might only remember 5%. That's the way that your brain works. The quicker you understand this, the quicker you can factor this in to your studying regimen. So let's take a look at this. You use a technique called spaced repetition. So if you study a topic on day 1, you want to come back to it on day 3, day 5, day 7, and space your repetition out. The more you repeat things, the deeper the memory becomes. And that brings us to the next tip, which is depth of processing. When you take in information, if you want to remember it more effectively, a very powerful way of doing this is to remix that, is to change that information. So if you're looking at information in a textbook, think of a rhyme, think of a pattern, maybe make a video, maybe make a colored diagram, an illustration to help you to change that information, to help you remember it at a deeper level. You don't just want to read it and study it and then regurgitate. You want to change it in some way. So the next thing is get to your spot. And what I mean by this is, what is the space, the place, the environment that you're the most productive in, that you're the most focused in. One of the things that we forget as human beings is that we are influenced by our environments. The kind of student that you are in your classroom is different to the kind of student that you're going to be in your bed. When you're under the covers and you got your laptop on your lap, you're going to be more productive in one area than another. So find out what that is for you and make sure you get to that spot as quickly as possible. Most of the difficulty when it comes to studying is not in the studying itself. It's in the activation energy required. I talked about this in the previous video that I did with this channel. Go ahead and go and check that one out. Sometimes we focus on getting more motivation, improving our techniques, and trying to fuel our rocket ship even more. But another way of making your studying more effective is to remove the resistance, to cut out the distractions like social media. So don't have your phone next to you, turn it off, put it in a different room. Remove any kind of distraction, and I'm talking about people, your dog. Put your dog in a different room if you have a pet or an animal that distracts you. Go somewhere where you cannot be distracted, and the only single thing that you can do is focus on the most important thing, and the most important thing is studying, revising, learning, removing those distractions so less effort and energy is required for you to focus, and you can use it on what's important. And that brings me to the next point. You want to work at 2 levels. So increase your fuel and your motivation to study. Think about and write down, tell people why you're doing this. I'm doing this because I want to become a doctor, an engineer, an entrepreneur, a social activist, a campaigner. And at the same time, remove the blocks that are stopping you. Remove the activation energy required for you to start studying. So before you go to bed at night, have your notebook out and ready on your desk. Make sure it's free of any clutter. Even have the pen ready. So the only thing you have to do is sit down and start taking notes. You don't even have to write the title or the date because those things are already done. And what you want to realize here is that success is a setup. It's not an accident. So make it happen that way. Plan and set yourself up for success. Habits. Let's talk about habits. Because as much as you want to be motivated, if you want these things to be effortless, you need to build habits. Now think about brushing your teeth every morning. When it comes to brushing your teeth, it doesn't require motivation. You don't watch a motivational video for you to brush your teeth, or for you to go to the toilet, or for you to put your shoes on in the morning. The only thing you do is you do the habit. And so by building habits, you make it easier and easier for you to execute the thing that you need to do. Habits don't require motivation. So how do you build the habit of studying effectively? You start small. You start with a small habit and you progressively make it harder and harder. So you might start off at the beginning with doing 10 minutes in the morning. And then your goal is simply to be consistent for 2 weeks, just studying 10 minutes every morning, very focused, very effective. And then you make it 15 minutes, 2 weeks again, very focused, very effective. And then you move to 20 minutes. And the next thing you know, you're doing 2 hours every single morning before you even get to school, college, or university. And you graduate your habits gradually over time. The problem that a lot of us have is we try and do too many things at once, focus on one thing. And that brings me to my next point. Know what it is that you're looking for when it comes to revision, when it comes to studying. So be smart about it. You don't have to learn everything. The examiner, the teacher in the classroom, know what it is that they are looking for. Play the game, because this studying game that you're in right now, this period of your life, some of the things that you're learning are functional and some of the things that you're learning are lifelong practical things. So know the difference. If there is something that you need the examiner to see, if there is a way that you need to present your essays, if there's a way that you need to present the information, give it to them that way. Hard work is going to beat talent when talent doesn't work hard, which brings me to my next point. It's not just about your genetics. It's not just about what you're capable of. You might be the smartest student in that classroom, just like I was. But if you don't work just as hard as the 20, 30 other people in that room, they're going to beat you. They're going to destroy you. And when it comes to that day at the exam, they put in more hours than you. They studied better than you. They looked at past papers. They spoke to other students about what they needed to do. And they were just sharper when it came to that moment, like a samurai who keeps his sword sharp. When the moment came to strike, they didn't hesitate. They only needed one opportunity. And I want you to be as sharp as you possibly can. So focus on putting in the hours. So we got 2 more points left. And these are probably the most important. I need you to really hear me now. When you study, I don't want you to study like a student. I don't want you to study like anyone in your classroom. I want you to study like a lecturer. Now imagine the way that your teacher or your lecturer studies for the classroom. If they were sitting that exam, if they were sitting down for that study session, what are the things that they would do differently? What are the books that they would read differently? What kind of research would they do? And really get yourself into their shoes, into their mindset, because that's what's going to take you 10x forward. It's going to take you 10 steps further than you are at the moment. If you think like a beginner, you're going to prepare like a beginner. But if you learn to think like a master, like the lecturer, like the person who's teaching everybody else, what level of preparation would that require? And then act in accordance with that. And the final, most powerful, practical technique when it comes to studying smart is what's known as the low-key method or the loci method. And to keep it simple, it means this. If you're trying to learn a new language, let's say you're learning Spanish, use your room, use your house that you live in to hold different memories in different places. So I used to use this when I was studying for French. I'd keep all of the things related to sports in one room. I'd keep all the things related to common conversations in my kitchen. And I would put labels on things. The spoon in my kitchen drawer, I knew exactly if I was looking for that information, it's the spoon in the drawer, and if I look at the label in my mind, I can see the word associated with it. So use this so when you're walking around your house has now become a study session, and you're walking inside that matrix. You've hacked the system. So even when you're sitting down to have dinner and you look up, you can see the revision notes for that module that you found difficult. And every single day, you're coming back to what I talked about at the beginning of this video, that spaced repetition. You're repeating what you need to remember again and again, and you've got that depth of processing. The reason this is powerful is because you've created an immersive studying experience, and that's what the greats do. There is no line between studying and not studying. There is no off switch. There's just different levels of immersion. So imagine if you were living in your textbook and you made your physical environment a representation of all the things that you need to learn. You're walking around in this palace of information. And I want to leave you with the most powerful quote of all when it comes to education. There is no end to education. There is no end to the things you learn. It's not that you read a book, you pass the exam, and that's it, you're finished. The whole of your life, from the moment you're born to the moment that you die, is a process of learning. So if you can apply the things here, you schedule your learning, you schedule what you're going to learn when, you space your repetition out, you remix things so you can remember, you get to the spot, you cut out the distractions, you increase your motivation and you remove the blocks. You start with small habits and progressively make them harder and harder and harder. You know what it is that the person you're studying for is looking for, so you learn those things. You're practical about it. You know that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work. You study like you're a lecturer and not a student, and you use that loci method to turn the environment that you're in into a wealthy palace of education. There is no reason why you can't achieve more, do more, and like I said at the beginning of the video, you make your studying more effective, so you can do twice as much in half the time. And now it's become effortless, exciting, and fun. And those are the 11 ways that you do it. Accept only the best and nothing less. I'll see you in the comments below, and make sure you check out my other video on motivation to study. Peace.
I'm sorry, Major. What was your name? Benny. Nobody cares. Meow. Okay, pal, I want to answer. Basically, it looks like I'm gonna have to save your planet.
Oh, is that all you got?
No, but thank you for asking. Uh-oh.
Whatever this creature is, our job is to secure it, neutralize it, see what makes it tick.